not even lying. Like, it never records properly.
Eh, it's fine. It's already in rewind. Okay, what's it called? So who do we
No,
want to start?
I don't care who starts.
Okay, I can start. So do you agree that Marco skills above King and Wano?
No.
Okay, so you're aware that he demonstrates better speed scaling than King, and he's also able to harm him in Flames On.
Okay, why? Why either of those?
Wait, what?
Why either of those?
All right, I'll send the panel if I'm not speeding
Well,
King.
actually, let's start with why do you think he can hurt King?
Just because he does it on panel.
Can you send that?
Okay.
Send all the scans and VC scans just here, just so we can like see them precisely. There you got that. Okay. I think the okay. What are you talking about here?
I'm talking about a bottom panel with King.
Okay. Do you not think this can be like a coloring mistake? Because we see this happen later on, and we know it's a coloring mistake later on with like the exact same situation. Like I just don't know if the coloring is accurate.
Well, what reason will we have to believe the coloring here is inaccurate?
It's just inaccurate that characters can damage Flames on King, which also aligns with his dialogue where he says that he just can't be like, or like he hasn't been hurt in a while, or someone says that. Even Zoro says he can't. I'll send the panel and then I'll throw it. So look, Zoro just charges at him, and we see this way. This is the start of the fight, right? And we see like similar looking blood or whatever, right? But obviously we know at this point Zoro can't cut King.
Okay, that's okay. So for this panel, we can have overriding reason to believe there's a coloring mistake because we have direct proof later on that Zoro can't cut King. But we have no like actual direct evidence within the story or implications that Marco can't hurt King. Like nothing about what's said or what's it called? Like done
I don't. I don't think
implies
that's.
like
I don't. I don't know if that's necessarily relevant. That like we need some sort of like backing for the Marco example. What I'm saying is that we have like an example where a character hits King, right? They're obviously not actually able to like injure him, and the fact that we know Marco wasn't able to put King down kind of helps like supply the fact that he probably wasn't actually hurting him.
well, what's it called? Wait, what'd you say that last part?
Like okay, I don't think we necessarily need like evidence, like straight up verbal evidence for Marco being able to like that like it didn't hurt King like we did with Zoro, right? Because we already see that's like possible, right? It's like this like possibility that happens with Zoro. I think that increases the likelihood of amount, and then also just on top of that, the fact that Marco wasn't actually able to like take down King or really do some substantial damage. We see King's mask and armor is still like fully intact, and he's not like covered in blood or like bruises or anything. So I think it's pretty likely that it's also a drawing mistake, especially
Okay,
because like the coloring has been inaccurate to like Oda's intentions like, all the time. We see that all the time.
Um, I mean, you can provide more examples to build like a likely
Yeah,
basis, but even if like yeah, just so I can finish. Even if you have one example that does increase the likely, that doesn't mean that's likely that the coloring is going to be consistent. The coloring is an official source, so unless we have overriding evidence from the manga to actually like dispute the coloring, also I don't think we should like there'd be actual good reason to override it. That's why I need like more than just oh it's been wrong in the past, but here where we don't actually have overriding evidence from the manga to dispute a less credible source. Not to mention the Marco argument you give, where you say that Marco didn't give any like substantial damage to King. That's fine under the scan because the scan doesn't show any heavy damage being done. It's just that he makes King bleed. But we know in One Piece making someone bleed doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to do like heavy damage. So it can be true. It can be like yeah, it can be entirely consistent that Marco could just do light damage to King without doing any like heavy damage.
okay. Um. So then where it goes, Lucas, is just okay. So if you want the examples of it, like being the coloring being accurate, all the covers which are driven, all the covers of the manga volumes which are drawn by Oda, right? You know that, right? Like the covers are drawn by Oda, right? Those colorings are often like very different, or there are like differences in shades and in colors from the actual colored manga, which is digitally colored and like not colored by Oda. That's why I would say it's probably just, like less likely to be the original coloring, like if that makes sense, like what Oda's intending the colors to look like. So that's one. And two, I think if you're granting that Marco like isn't dealing substantial damage to King, I kind of think that like I still think that kind of helps my point where it's just I think we can just go with that, where it's like, okay, if King is not taking substantial damage, no matter how much Marco's tagging him and supposedly like blitzing him around, right? If King's not taking substantial damage, then I think it's more so just why does Marco have incentive to dodge?
What?
I'm
Why does
saying, yeah, or sorry, King has incentive to dodge. Sorry, fault, bro.
Alright, just give me 1 sec.
Yeah.
Okay, so for the like, I mean, you can send some of the like the coloring, like the volume inconsistencies, but again, you'll just go back to the argument I laid out earlier. Like, yeah, for an official source, if a more official source has something in that direct example that goes against it, then we can overwrite it. But I don't believe it's like the case, especially because like a few examples aren't gonna mean like a whole like because obviously we can't say that most of the time there's a coloring inconsistency if we got the entire fucking manga, no matter how much like coloring mistakes you give on the volumes. So like unless we had like a 51% probability that for every single panel and drawing they inaccurately color, maybe I could see your point, but without that, like just knowing that they are officially licensed to color, I would say that what we would need for every single example is overriding evidence. In the case of the volume covers, right? The overriding evidence would be that Oda, the higher authority, just straight up says these are just straight up draws different colors, right? But I'm saying that for that. Now as for the Marco thing, for the King thing, when my speed scaling for Marco being able to scale and speed to King isn't necessarily the what's it called? Isn't necessarily going to be the like I'll steelman the whole like dodging point because my scaling for him scaling to him speed isn't even going to be based on like King not dodging an attack or getting hit by an attack. We can get into that
Okay.
later.
Then do you want to say what that is? It's based off of?
It's just based on him being able to catch King as he's like flying towards Zoro.
Where are you talking about pre rooftop?
Yeah.
Yeah. Why do you think King's using his full power? Wait, can you send the panel actually? I think I know what you're
Yeah.
talking about.
Where is this? Oh my goodness.
Yep.
No. It wasn't. I found the Infinity versus Jaja. Anyways, 1 second.
Oh.
Let me get the panel. It's gonna take a sec because it's not like.
Niggas forget, but Infinity did lose to Jaja.
uh,
We
by the way,
can't name a
this is the second
Jaja on
joke.
Ifeet, by the way. You can't name a
Yeah.
Jaja on Ifeet.
He's my friend.
okay. Hold on. I'll send the panel NPC scans real quick. All right, here it is.
Okay. One, this is like his flight speed, like his zone flight speed, and then two, like what is he even doing here? Like where does he get caught from? Where's Marco coming from? Because like we don't know. Like Marco could have intercepted him from below. We don't. I think there's so many like things we don't know about here. Because he kicks Zoro at the bottom. Like can you explain to me what's happening? Because I actually don't know.
Okay, so what's happening? Yeah. Okay, so for one, we see that he's actually behind them, and that he's just pulling his wings up. So obviously, if he's behind them and like his wings are able to like stretch and wrap around them, he's basically coming in from behind.
Why is he behind them?
Because we see just positionally, he's like below them. Like for example,
Yeah, that's
you see
different from
how
behind. That's different from behind though.
no, but it's like okay, what's it called? Like Marco, you see how like Marco's head is like further away from the panel than like King's head and Queen's head. Like it's to demonstrate that he's not
why?
like as forward.
Oh, okay.
But
Yeah,
he-
obviously I know what depth perception is, but that's assuming that Marco's head is the same size as King and Queen's. Like if Marco's a smaller head, then it's gonna appear visibly smaller on the panel. So then you just have to like.
Wait, what's it called?
Mhm.
No, not inherently. Because again, something could be.
What
what's
you're
it called?
saying? You're saying it's smaller on the panel, right? Because it's further back, right? That's what you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay, but what I'm saying
No,
is
no, I'm not
it's
saying. I'm not just saying because of. Wait, I'm not like I'm saying that it being further back is showing like a difference in position. Like it's not about the
No,
size.
I know. No, I know. But what I'm saying is it could be because of the size. That's what I'm saying. You're saying that it's because Marco's head is smaller because he's farther back, right? He's like that's like the depth. But I'm saying it doesn't have to be that. It can be because Marco's head is smaller than theirs, and that's why he looks like he's.
Wait, but you know,
smaller.
size and depth are different, right? Like they're not.
Yeah, I know size and depth are different, Lucas. What I'm saying is that
What would be the correlation in him having a disparity in what's it called? Because my point is that
I'm not granting that there's a disparity in depth. I'm agreeing that there's obviously there's a drawn difference inside. Like Marco's head looks smaller here. It looks smaller. You're claiming that's because of the depth. I'm saying it could be because of their actual size. It doesn't have to be because of the depth. It's because of their actual size of their heads.
Okay, but wait, what's it called? Whether or not you want to say that like King is more toward like that's fine. It could be because of Marco's size that he's not as forward toward the panel. That still helps me say that he's behind them.
No.
For example,
wait. No, no.
an ant, hold up, an ant can be below, could be like away from a panel if drawn next to a human because of size. That just means that the human's obviously like further to the panel than it because it has that size advantage. That's fine. My point is, it's still gonna give credence to him being behind
No.
King and Win.
No. Why? Wait, can you repeat that?
I'm saying again, like size. Well, like whatever reason we assign to it is gonna be irrelevant from the fact that he's still positionally away from the panel. Like if you want to say it's a matter of depth,
Why?
right?
No, I'm not agreeing that's a matter of depth. Why?
No, I wasn't saying you were, but you cut me off. I'm saying that what's it called? If you want to say like what, regardless, right? He can be further away from the panel because of size. It's just that what's
I'm
it
not saying
called?
he's further away. I don't think he's further away from the panel. I never granted that.
What? Okay,
I never
so
granted. What I'm saying, no, Lucas. What I said is you're trying to say he's further away from the panel, and that's a depth thing. I'm not granting that. I'm saying
all right,
his head can be physically smaller than theirs, and he can be like. I'm just saying that's a possibility, and they can be on the same level, and that's why.
all right, one sec.
Unless you can prove Marco's head is bigger than theirs, like, then this is kind of irrelevant. Like he's like zone form head, by the way. Which I don't think you're gonna be able to do like, realistically.
One sec.
Yeah. Bum, 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 bum.
Okay, the VC scans in a quick sec.
Ah. Me and my friend rewind. I couldn't play back. What is this?
Yeah, so you see like
But I don't.
ChatGPT.
Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! Here, hey Lucas, hey Lucas, hey Lucas.
Are you gonna ask why ChatGPT is reliable?
No, 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 I'm gonna ask. I'm not gonna ask. I'm gonna ask. Just give me a second. All right. Give me a second, Lucas. Because like obviously I can say that like yeah, why would I agree with ChatGPT's interpretation? Because these are just interpretations of scene. Yeah, I was gonna try to get ChatGPT to say the opposite, but like
Well, ChatGPT
sorry.
is built. ChatGPT is built with like a framework of understanding things like physics and other concepts to
Yeah, but yeah, Lucas.
so
Obviously,
it has reliability in the source. Now, can it be wrong? I'm not saying it's perfect, right? Especially if you're overwriting evidence, but it still has a basis for credibility beyond just
no,
mere
okay. I grant that it's a basis for credibility, but like in essence, it's just like appealing to popularity. Like you're asking just more. It's just another It's like another person agreeing with your interpretation. That's literally what this is.
No,
It's
it's
just.
not just because they're another person.
But okay, but do you know what chat? Okay, do you know what ChatGPT shit is built off of? Like why? Why? It's just okay. If it's interpreting something, it's built off the interpretations of other people.
It's not just built off the interpretations of other people. So it's built on data
Because
that
Lucas, this is not like a fact. This is not like an objective thing, right? Like no matter, like it's not 100% objective. Like no matter what, this isn't
No,
objective.
absolutely, yeah.
Right?
I'm
Okay.
not arguing that.
Okay. So what I'm saying is, okay. So if it's not 100% objective, what I'm saying is it's all built off like subjective views from humans. Like all art is subjective. Like the subjective views of humans, right? So ChatGPT is literally just giving the subjective view that it views it as. But I don't know why ChatGPT's thinking this makes it like more relevant than you saying it. Like I don't
Wait,
really care.
when we say subjective, it's not in the sense that like I don't think what's it called? I don't think it's in a sense where it doesn't raise objective probability because the information it's getting from reputable sources, even if they're from people, right? It's from um internet sites, right, about people that go into and understand physics and depth and whatnot, etc., etc. So like
But wow,
obviously you
that's physics. That's
like,
physics. That's objectively grounded, like mathematics that like are like observable and provable. This is like an artistic thing, which is based off like interpretations. Like this is very
well, no,
different.
like like obviously
Because
artistic.
no, because I
Obviously,
grant
like
that ChatGPT is accurate for like
the
yeah.
way art can be drawn does go into physics, right? Because like, you can only draw things in a certain way. Like,
No, no, that's not. I mean, okay, if you want to say like very like basic like physics, like positioning and like movement, sure. But like I'm talking about like advanced things. Like this is very more than surface level. I don't think you can use
oh, I mean,
ChatGPT
I'll
to
say
like
this much,
like I
Jiggly,
don't think
right?
I just don't think ChatGPT. Okay, ChatGPT is given an interpretation here, right? Like I think it's just that simple. Like ChatGPT is given an interpretation here. My interpretation would still stand because I don't think this is like as an artwork. There's just like it's interpretable. I
I
don't think
mean,
there's like
that's
a
fine.
definitive
Obviously,
thing.
I do agree it's giving his opinion, but that doesn't really. We can move on from this point. That's fine because I gotta go soon anyway.
Okay.
What's it called? Going up to the flight speed argument. I do think that what's it called? We see that King's flight speed just like scales very at the very least relative, not just above
Why?
his combat speed. So we see with his flight speed, he's able to tag Zoro from a distance, even though he goes relative with Zoro in combat.
Can you send that?
Sure.
Where's his flight speed here?
But
Oh
the
wait, okay,
flight
wait,
speed
never mind,
is
never
yeah,
mind. At the top here.
like him
Oh,
how he like swooshes to Zoro's.
that's not his flight speed.
How do you think he's moving if he's
I
moving
think
in
I think that's his falling speed.
what?
Well, okay, um, he's like kicking downwards, and when like okay, like if we think of him as like a bird, right? Because like fundamentally he's like a bird, or he's a pterodactyl, right? But they're pretty similar, right? Um, birds like flap to fly upwards, right? You're gonna flap if you're flying upwards, and when you're landing, you're gonna flap downwards. We see how birds land. A bird does not kick towards the ground to land, which is what King is doing here, and King's in his zone form too. So I don't think we can map that onto like his hybrid form in terms of like, or sorry, other way around. Like his hybrid form is the one fighting Zoro, so I don't think we can like say there's a similar
Okay,
instance.
okay, two things. Can you prove he's in his hybrid form here? Because he only shows to have Lunarian characteristics. It would be more probable, if anything, that he's in his
Does he have
base form.
wings in his base form? Okay, okay,
Yeah, he
even more
does.
so then. Okay, even more so, Lucas. Then because
But
then what we're okay that even more so because then we're just gonna say okay, um, what the fuck is the comparison between his flight in his zone form, which is based off a flying creature, right? It's probably gonna be amped. It's flying when he's in a flying form, right? So his zone speed is probably gonna be faster than in his hybrid form, or his base form, which is not as meant for flying. It's probably gonna be worse there. And I don't even think this is him flying. I think that's just less likely than not because
wait,
of
no.
like
Okay, the problem is right. That's like okay. Can you repeat like that real quick? Actually, I think I might have forgot
I'm
something
saying
to say.
that. Yeah, I'm saying that King doesn't look like he's flying, right?
Okay.
That's the first part, and the second part is just if you're saying he's in base, right,
Yeah.
or hybrid, because I said he's in hybrid. Him being in base is fine too. His zone form is probably gonna have better flight because it's meant for flying compared to his base.
That's fine. Okay. So the whole like it isn't flying part though. You said your interpretation is that he's falling, and because he's kicking Zoro.
Yeah, what I was saying is, okay, King and animals that fly, because I was more so thinking he was in his hybrid, but it's whatever if he is or isn't. He has wings, right? When birds so he's probably like it's pretty inductive that like this is how winged animals fly because we see it all the time. Birds don't kick towards the ground. They when they fly they swoop down, right? Like they glide down basically. They don't kick straight down. So what I'm saying is I think King is using his weight to fall onto Zoro. Like obviously he flew to get into the air and he's flying around in the air. But when he actually goes to Zoro, I think he's kicking onto him. He's not actually flying onto Zoro. That's my like interpretation
Okay.
of this.
So wait, the problem is that unless you could prove that kicking Zoro, because my interpretation is simply going to be that he flew to Zoro and then he extended his leg for the kick, right? Now, unless you can tell me why, like, kicking downward like that is going to build momentum, unless you think the only momentum is just from gravity taking its course, from which we can make a very easy argument that Zoro should have been able to react to and dodge that, because unless you think gravity is so fast they can pull someone that weighs, gravity doesn't even matter in terms of weight, but It can pull someone like King down faster than a guy who can move beyond the speed of light can react, right? My problem is that obviously unless you can also prove the only option from there to say that like the motion of kicking downward would be building that sufficient momentum, but I don't think that's how physics works. I need like proof of that. My interpretation is simply put that he obviously just flew down, right, with his wings, he flapped, and then he goes to the position to like, kick Zoro. By the panel where we see him kicking Zoro, right, he's already flown to Zoro, so now he doesn't like keep flying, he just kicks him. You know what I'm saying?
Wait. Then can't this just be? Then why would this map onto his travel speed, his flying speed?
Because he's still flying to get to Zoro, right? So it's like
Okay, he
the
can
fact that
fly to get
Zoro,
to Zoro, but then he's kicking him with his leg. He's not using his
right? But the
leg.
fact
Okay,
is that Zoro couldn't react to the entire sequence, right? There's even
why?
if there's
Wait. Why
because
can't he react? That also I don't
if
think.
if King is flying over, right? So to fly over and then to kick someone, right? There's obviously two motions. You need to first fly over there. So the fact is he couldn't react to the combination of both, meaning he couldn't react to the first one either.
Why couldn't he react to the combination of both? He only has to react to the kick, right? Like
But no, if he could react to the flight, then why doesn't he just jump away from King flying
because
toward them?
because he literally needs King to because he knows King needs to like get within range for him to be cut because that's what he's saying. He's saying he's fast, meaning I can cut him. He needs King within range to hit here. So he's obviously going to want to get King closer within range, right? So if King flies closer to him, it's more advantageous for him to react in close distances than just dodge because if he dodges here, he can't let it hit on King. Because Zoro
Wait,
is someone who kind of needs close range to beat his enemies, right?
yeah, obviously. Wait, is that it? Okay, yeah. The point is though, um, he can still dodge without like moving out of range instead of having to take a kick and then dodge and take more damage. You know, like
Okay,
why
but
not just dodge and not dodge like to the point where he can't cut him? He doesn't have to do that.
okay, because that requires like a lot more precision, which like assumes Zoro's way faster than King, where he can like dodge like a specific distance and then like jump onto him again all before King can react. Which like again they're pretty relative in speed, so I doubt that like what's his face that King is just gonna be like idle this whole time while Zoro can like
I don't.
dodge this specific length where he dodges the attack and the flight, but then can also
Wait,
stab him without King reacting.
are you arguing that
I'm just giving an
so, like,
interpretation here. I think my
hold on,
interpretation
wait,
of
wait,
King's
one
way
sec, one
worse.
sec.
Yeah,
Yeah, I guess like what you're. I mean, I guess then what you're interpreting if you're not arguing, are you interpreting that like the
it's gonna be long.
ability to be like the time, I guess, to dodge but not like overly extend yourself is just gonna be way more like lengthy than just to dodge like normal.
No, because maybe I misheard what you said, but I thought you were saying that Zoro can like dodge the wing part and then still. Because I was saying, okay, the reason Zoro would still want to get in close quarters with King, like I only think King's getting like I don't think the flight speed here matters. Like I think yes, I think Zoro does get tagged by well I don't know if he gets tagged. I'll say that much. I actually don't know if he's getting tagged, but Zoro obviously makes contact with his leg. That's his attack speed though. What I'm saying is, King's flight down into the ground, like when he let's say swoops in onto Zoro, I said, okay, well, Zoro needs to be able to be in close range with King to cut him. So I think it's like kind of retarded for Zoro to just like jump like a mile away. That's disadvantageous and won't like allow him to cut King. So I'm saying is he's more likely to just like allow himself to let King get close and then cut him and then try and fight back. That's why I don't think
Oh,
he leaped back from the
no,
flight.
I get that. I get that. But
Yeah.
the problem is again that like he could just like, for example, if King's coming toward him, he could just like jump over King, and then he can get in fact even a better angle to cut
Why
through
would
his
he
head.
do that? Do you think Zoro is that
Like I don't know
stupid?
why that would be. I don't know why
Wait,
that would require like
do,
precision to the extent
do you
that would
think
make it much harder to dodge.
okay,
Why would?
okay, if that's what you're saying, if you think Zoro's that stupid to jump in the air against King, like, do you think Zoro is that stupid where he's gonna like take a fight against a guy who can fly in the air? Like Zoro was already getting pounded whenever he had like any
No,
mid-air combat with King. Okay,
wait, no. What I mean, no, I'm saying like I don't think your interpretation makes sense. What I'm arguing he's doing is instead of taking the kick, okay, first off, like we can argue about this later, but do you actually think that he didn't get kicked there in that panel?
it's hard to tell. I think he could have blocked it with the sword in his mouth.
What's it called? Okay, we can go over that later because I don't think this will happen. But in fact, that's another thing he honestly could have done. He could have just blocked it too, which again would like minimize damage. But I'll go over later as to why I think he just got kicked. But regardless, to address this point first, like all I'm saying is that he doesn't take it to air in the sense that he remains like a prolonged combat in air. I'm just saying that instead of what's it called? getting kicked, he just goes and he's able to target a more vulnerable position if he goes for the head,
Okay,
for
but
example.
okay, but
He just jumps
Zoro.
up in the
Okay,
air.
the amount of distance Zoro
Like
would
he's
have to
gonna go
travel.
back down because gravity.
But Zoro. Okay, obviously. But what I'm saying is King can like hold him in the air. But okay, if Zoro jumps up onto King, right? Like if you like let's just look at where they are, like the positioning, like here, I guess. Zoro would have to jump like across King's like while King's charged at him. Right? Let's say his foot's unextended here, and King could bat it, extend his foot. Zoro would have to jump all the way up. If you don't like, do you not think King can like react to Zoro going up in the air from this position?
What's it called? I mean, what's it
I
called?
grant that like it's
Like,
obviously so.
obviously, like King could possibly react, but like compared to what's actually done in canon, where he lands the attack from where like you see like he is in that panel you just sent, right? That crop panel.
Yeah, but okay, the
It's
whole point
not
is that
like there's not like a noticeable disparity in how it'd be like easy for King to dodge. I mean, and in the end of the day, he's able to cut a more vulnerable part of him, which would be his head instead of his torso.
I think he cuts. I actually don't know what he cuts here. Does he cut his head?
No, he cuts it down his chest basically.
I don't even. This panel's fucking whack. I don't know how he cuts him here. Regardless, he does manage to like cut him with the strategy he used, right? So I don't necessarily know like why he would find the
It's
need
just
to
that it would
react.
obviously like he's
Well,
still able to do it.
like
It's just that it'd be
okay, but
more regardless. What's it called?
only if
You know,
it landed though, right? Like that's under the basis that like King can't react. So like what I'm saying is like I just don't think we can like use that interpretation and say it's more likely that like oh yeah the flight speed is like what did it. Like I think it's just entirely ambiguous. But if you want to move on, we can because I don't
wait,
want
we can
to.
quickly like go
Yeah.
onto like whether or not he because this is one thing I don't want to leave under rest.
Oh
Like
yeah, sure.
the whole like if you got kicked, like you know how there's like what's it called? Yeah, you know how there's there's no like clang sound, right? Which is usually like what we see when like
There's
something
a
makes contact.
gank. There's a gank.
Is gank like
I don't know what the hell
consistent?
that means, but I
That's
don't
what
know
I'm
what
saying.
gank
Like,
means.
because typically I know in One Piece that like when the swords are making contact with something or
What's
like
his?
metal or
It's
something
his foot.
else,
It's
like
like a shoe.
yeah, but like when swords are making contact with something, like they're you can usually make like a clang sound. I don't know if a gank is also used for that. Is it like can you show that?
I don't know. I don't want to go fucking. Where's Waldo?
Also, it does seem to be that like Zoro is bleeding from there, but I couldn't check the colored.
I'll check hard too, actually.
I don't know
Well,
what else would be the Loki like.
there's a lot of like
That
just random bits. That's why there's a lot of. I'll say it's blood. I'll say blood. It's fine. It doesn't really matter actually. Okay.
because I do think that should indicate that he did like actually take that shit.
Well, even if he got kicked, it could just be a Zoro like the force could be like through the okay. Like if I like if you look okay, like if you have something in your mouth and I like punch the thing in your mouth, you might bleed.
Well, it's the case that like typically we see when Zoro's like blocking against attacks, like he's not taking like he's not bleeding.
He's blocking with his hilt, not his blade, really. That's why. And his
His-
face, like his King's shoe, is definitely bigger than Zoro's hilt. So I'm saying it could like
Wait,
bypass like a big part of the hilt and still damage him. But regardless, I don't really
So
care.
then, okay, but wait, if he's blocking with his hill, then that'll still indicate that like he wasn't actually able to properly block, unless you think he purposefully blocked with his hill, which is not as advantageous and obviously, what's it called? Not what he even does in character. Like, do you actually think he purposefully blocked with his hill,
Like,
or do you think it's just a result of like not being fast enough to properly initiate a block, if he even did?
he might have purposely blocked with his hilt so he could hold onto his sword better.
Why would blocking with his hill do that?
Because if you kick onto the edge of the sword, right, where he's not grasping it, it's more likely that like because the force, if he pushes it, like if King kicks the end of the sword, there's if he kicks the hilt, it can't go backwards because it's in Zoro's mouth already, so it can't go like flying. But if he's kicking the end, it can go flying because there's like empty space. I don't know if that makes sense.
No, I get what you mean, but like at the same time, I don't know if just because there's that disadvantage, it would actually follow that it'd be more advantageous to keep the sword in his mouth. Because if you kick at the mouth and you also end up damaging the mouth, then the structural integrity of your like mouth and your teeth that are holding that sword can get disrupted. So there's a disadvantage there as well.
I mean, like, yeah, I agree. There's an advantage. I guess like for both situations, there's multiple.
And it's just in
advantages.
character, like again, he just doesn't usually do this. Like,
I agree. He doesn't usually do that, but he usually doesn't block with his mouth. I don't think he's ever done that before. But I think we can move on. I don't want to.
obviously, I don't think he's black. Anyways, we can move on. Is there anything? Wait, okay. So we
So
argued
yeah,
over the
we just
speed
argued over.
thing. We argued
Um,
over the.
yeah, then it would just be like, why is like this whole king panel back to this one? I'll send it again back to this. Why is it oh, what's it called? What's happening here? Why is king like exerting full power or whatever?
Oh, okay. You want to use the full power debunk? Well, there's just no
I don't.
incentive for him to.
Well, I
Oh,
just don't know what he's
we are.
doing.
Wait,
'Cause,
we went over the like. Oh, you don't know what he's doing?
yeah, I still don't like grant that he's going after Zoro because you said something about Zoro earlier, and I just didn't know what like that meant.
Yeah. Okay. No, I thought you were talking still about like the positioning shit because we went over that.
No,
Obviously, right?
we don't have a position. Yeah,
Yeah. One sec. What's in Castle Black?
because I know like Marco like flings Zoro, but
Okay. Hold up. Let me find the. You mind just waiting a sec? Because I gotta find the chapter.
yeah, I'll look for
Hold on,
it.
though.
It's 999.
Oh, okay, thank you. That makes sense. I was about to say, I don't think.
Ooh, Ace.
Is it 999?
Yeah.
I'm not. No, that's.
Oh, it's 1000.
Yeah, it's a
Like
thousand.
both.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Because is it a? That'd be interesting. Oh yeah, it is. It is. Okay.
We just don't like.
Actually, hold up.
Cause this I said it. This isn't 999, and then actually what's it? 1000 is like this other thing. Like 1000 is the first thing you said.
Oh, okay. I mean, well, even the panel that we send, I don't even really send context. Like the panel clearly shows that they're after Zoro. What's it called? I mean, I could use the behind point as evidence, but I'm not gonna push on that because we already argued against that. So it'd just be contingent on if we, So obviously, if he's behind, right, it shows that they're not going toward Marco. So it'd only be reasonably going against Zoro. But that's gonna be dependent if it won that. So I won't argue it more than that. But even then, like Marco just straight up says, "Stop freaking out and let the man go." So we can see in context that what they're trying to do is prevent Zoro from going. And obviously, like they have no incentive to hold back to just
Well,
more
okay,
efficiently
that's what
and
Queen,
quickly
but I just
get
don't
to
know what
Zoro
King is
before Marco
doing.
can stop them.
I don't know what King is doing. And
Pretty clear, or am I glitching out?
also I don't think King or sorry, I don't think Queen and King are
Hello?
like yeah, hello?
Wait. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Yo, Jiggly.
Yeah? Yeah?
I fucking like a dumbass. I muted my laptop. Okay. What
Oh, yeah, that's something
part
bad.
did you what part did you like start addressing what I was saying?
Oh no, I barely said it. That was like a
Okay,
sentence.
so you like the whole like back point, you get what I was saying with that,
No, yeah,
right? And
we
why?
don't have to worry about that.
Okay, so then to
No, what I
reiterate
was
what I
gonna
was saying
say is yeah, like I just think it's like okay, um, what's it called? Queen and King, like yeah, I agree they're going after Zoro, but I think it's possible that they didn't choose either full power because one, like okay, yeah, they're like okay, don't assume you can just fly past us, whatever bullshit they're saying, but what's it called? I was gonna say something. Yeah, King is King and Queen, like they're pretty confident in like Kaido's ability to win. Like they obviously think Kaido's gonna win, so I don't think they're like too pressed to like stop Zoro from reaching the rooftop because they're under the impression, which is right, that if Zoro gets on the rooftop, he's gonna literally get pushed.
what's it called? That doesn't mean that okay, just because they're not necessarily like I don't think there's any indication that they are trying to stop Zoro from going through the rooftop out of like any consideration for Kaido. I think it's just to for the sake of just defeating him and Marco at the same time. Like so in that case, right, like they don't necessarily have to have like huge stakes in the matter without just wanting to do it the most efficient manner. Like if you want like they still want to do it, right? Obviously they still want to stop Zoro and Marco, right? And if they have nothing incentivizing them to like hold back, then we have no reason to believe that they would, especially if that is just the most efficient way of doing things, most rational way of doing things. Obviously you don't need necessarily something that incentivizes you further, right, to do it the most efficiently. But like, they don't have that here, but that's fine. Like I don't think you need that necessarily. But you could actually.
Yeah, I think we should move on because we're taking
That's
time.
fine.
Uh,
Um Anything else like until, or do you just want to go to like the Marco and Big Mom thing?
We got
So I'm
Marco
assuming
Big
that's-
Mom.
Okay, so are you aware that Big Mom with just one homie is able to clash evenly with Marco? She's also able to like grab him, like blitz him.
Okay. The one homie part I don't think is relevant. Um, this would just compare like different types of speed to the king thing. The king thing is zone Marco, and it's like his wings. This is like his hand in like his striking speed, I guess. In whatever form this is.
Okay,
Hybrid.
what's it called? Firstly, the okay, we'll go over the one homie
But
thing
I
in a
also, I
second.
also don't think he got blitzed, but we can get to that. But I don't
Um,
think that feat is really relevant.
Alright, let's just talk about the different speed first, because obviously, like, there's basically three contentions there. Then, when it comes to like the different speed, so like you're aware that Marco is in hybrid form, right? And,
So
like his
some
wing.
fucking faggot just muted me. I swear to God, I'm gonna take over his perms. Just did that.
Wait, did somebody
Yeah, this
did
kid's
somebody
gonna
muted you, or did
no
something with the
moved
bot?
me, moved me. This kid's doing
Oh,
perms. Right.
my bad, my bad.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
all I was trying to say is, okay, so you're aware that Marco was in hybrid form with the wings and talons when he was clashing Big Mom, right? Like the instance I'm talking about.
Yeah, this one.
Okay, so yeah, no, I'll just like to elaborate. So then, with him being the cyber form, right? Like we, unless you want to say that, what's it called? Hybrid form should have some like noticeable speed loss from zone, which if anything, there's counter evidence, but like yeah, there is counter evidence from that. Like the fact that most people do fight in their hybrid forms, and I think for Kaido, for example, like there's a statement that his hybrid form is more agile. So we just have more likelihood that his hybrid form is gonna be more agile for dodging, right? From like Big Mom's grab in this case. Just like in the case of
Um,
like with the zone and like Marco and King and all that,
I don't
like
think that's necessarily
that's
true,
also
because okay, you can send the Kaido statement, but like I think stylistically, most zone forms, the reason like even if they're faster, the reason you wouldn't use it is because they don't really have like combative measures like to actually hurt people with. Like most full zones, and especially like Marco's. Like Marco's doesn't really seem like he could hurt someone with his full zone form. But there's a reason he chooses to fight King and Queen in a hybrid, and he's using the
wait.
zone form here.
Well, I don't understand why the full zone would have like, you see, you're arguing that like the AP of the full zone form would somehow like be diluted, but why? For example, in this
Well,
case, Marco's, just to elaborate, like in this case with Marco, he uses his talons, right? We see consistently he's using both blue flames and talons. We see he's able to generate both. Obviously, he has talons as a bird, and he still has blue flames all over his body, right? It's just like I don't see why the attack power or the attack potential or whatever of Marco would be like relevantly like lower in his what's it called, hybrid than zone. Yeah, like in zone then hybrid. My bad.
because of lack of ability to like, I well, actually, does he have talents in zone?
He does. I think you even see it in the panels recently.
Uh, oh yeah, okay. Then we just get into if it's a blitz or not.
Okay, you're fine. Like, do I have to? I'll just not. Yeah. Um. Okay, then if it's a blitz or not, okay. Let me just get into the. You want like? I mean, you're just worried. Like, he shows no sign of being able to like block or dodge, like when he gets grabbed. Like,
Okay, I know he gets grabbed, obviously, but I have a problem with that feat.
what is the problem?
Um, just like yeah, I'll send it. We just see like the distance that Big Mom needs to move her hand is like much less than what's it called? Than like Marco's body would have to like retract, right? Because okay, I think
Oh, my bad.
important
Can
to
you
know.
repeat that real quick? I was getting distracted.
Yeah, like the distance Big Mom's hand has to move is much smaller than like the distance Marco's body would have to retract. So like the feat for Big Mom I think, isn't like an outspeed or anything, and also Marco's like vision of the hand is like shaky. Like we don't know how much knowledge he has on the hand. Like we don't know if Marco like knows it's coming, was expecting all this shit, right?
Yeah, I get what you're saying. Well, first about like the distance,
Mhm.
low key. I don't like if they're both clashing. Yeah, I'm no
Well,
because
I'll say this much, Lucas, because I think there's something like that. I think people just don't like acknowledge, but Marco has to travel a lot of like, or Marco's like pushing in a lot of like acceleration forward, right? Like there's a lot of acceleration he's pushing towards Big Mom's direction. So for him to counteract all that acceleration and like go backwards to dodge an attack like this, like requires a lot of effort.
Okay, let me just sum real quick.
Because in essence he's charging towards Big Mom. So while Big Mom moves his hands, Marco has to do like a lot more movement to actually avoid the attack because of the position he's in.
Like, just in perspective, I don't necessarily agree with that because like I even drew some lines here to represent that. I would like to see like what your basis for that is. Because like for example, the lines I drew here, like Big Mom has to shoot her hand that distance to get to Marco's neck, whereas Marco could just like literally like fucking what's it called? Like turn that shit away, like snap his neck back or some shit. Like he just has to
That's
move less distance.
that's the wrong hand.
No, that is the hand that she uses.
No, it's not.
Yeah, because it's
No,
the
it's
panel
not.
direct. It's
No, it's
okay.
not. No, it's not, Lucas.
Okay, let me see the panel where
I'll explain why it's not. No, I'll explain why it's not. Let's look at the page here. Right here. Okay. There's the whole page, right? Look at the bottom. We see where Paris is shooting, right? Zeus is in the left hand, Marco's in the right, right? We
Yeah.
see when she actually chokes out Marco, we see the thumb on the left side of his neck, okay? If you stick out your right hand right now, put it in the position Big Mom has it, that's your right hand. That's where you would hold Marco. That's his right hand, okay? And then we also see at the top panel, okay? We see Big Mom's hand is right underneath Marco's head. We see a fish-shaped object right underneath Marco's head in the center of the flames of Prometheus. So that's very
Okay, yeah,
likely.
you're right. You're right. That no,
Yeah.
hold up. That is
Yeah.
that is the fucking what's it called? Okay, so she uses I okay, that's fine, but the problem is that again, like the distance that because regardless, like the distance that Big Mom would need for her hand to wrap to Marco's neck is going to be proportional to how much Marco is going to need to move to evade a hand of that size. Like, especially because we don't see a huge size disparity anyway between Marco, like specifically Marco's head and Big Mom's hand, right? It's just like there's not going to be some huge disparity in like distance alleviated by size, between how Marco can just turn away his neck versus how Big Mom can extend out her hand to like clutch him. Especially because she also had to discard Prometheus, which is obviously going to take a certain amount of time. She had to lay that guy on the floor so then she can actually like physically touch Marco.
I think Prometheus can like move himself. Also, I don't even know if that's true because I don't think Prometheus is on the floor up until the part where Paris is shooting him. Because we see when I think Prometheus is still there even when she like initially grabs Marco. Because we see in the panel where she says "Get him, Paris." We see flames. Like we see flames behind her. It's like around her.
That could be as you said, him moving away or him just dropping to the floor. Regardless, like even if he
Okay,
didn't
but
move
that means
away,
it wasn't like okay. But that means
but even if he did, wait, even to clarify, like even if he didn't move away on his own, like regardless, she's gonna have to wait for him to be discarded so then she can physically touch him because he has to leave her hand.
No. Why?
Because when you're because what's it called? If her
Oh,
hand
actually,
is
yeah,
covered.
sure. Actually, sure. Like, okay, but what I'm saying is, Big Mom's hand is so close to Marco. Like, I don't really know if that's relevant. Because what I'm saying is, Big Mom's hand is so close to Marco to the point where Marco would have to counteract all the acceleration he is pushing forward and then go backwards, all to dodge Big Mom, who just needs to move her hand like slightly forward. And
Wait,
Prometheus can
why does he need to do all that? Why can't he just like turn
okay.
his neck away? She's targeting his neck, right? Why can't he just turn his neck away and twist his body instead of having to specifically like what's it called? Change like the acceleration and all this bullshit. Because he could even fly away. Like we see he's kind of dashing toward Big Mom in the first
Because
panel, right?
presumably, right? Presumably, his head is like, at some sense, it's like he's using his head to like basically shove into her.
Pause. But yeah, what's it called? To shove into. I mean, no. Okay, we don't exactly know what part. I'm not gonna lie. This is shit paneling. We don't know exactly what part he's clashing with. But the point is
Because what I'm saying
that
is he's like charging into her with like, his full body. Because he doesn't have like the way he's arched forward. He's when you like arch your legs like that, right? You're like striking, and when you're striking, you use your whole body. You're not just using your
wait,
like
to be, I think he's
wings.
arching. Wait, I think he's arching with one of his wings because we only see like one wing in the first panel, and we see their blue flames what's it called in front of Marco's body. I think he's like basically shooting like he's basically clashing with one of his wings toward Big Mom. And I think like okay in that instance, right?
But
Like
we don't even
he's
see
still
that.
dashing toward her. Yeah, he's still dashing toward her. I get what you're saying, but if anything, like Again, because the whole like distance relative to size thing I was saying earlier, there doesn't seem to be a huge distance gap, and the size about them is relative. So it's like the size for Big Mom's hand to be able to cover like Marco's neck is going to be relative to Marco's neck being able to dodge Big Mom's hand, and at the same time, it's like he doesn't. I don't think he necessarily needs to like deaccelerate, especially because not only like is the neck being targeted, so you could just crack like turn that shit, but he can also, if anything, just like keep accelerating forward, stop clashing, just like fly away from her, like because she's targeting his neck right where he's right now, that he can fly away from that hand grab and just like fly away from Big Mom while still like accelerating forward and stashing like keep her in the dust type shit.
Wait, can you repeat that last bit?
Like basically like if if he's dashing toward her right and she's going for a grab to his neck, you just keep accelerating forward and dodge at the same time, right? So you don't have to like do one. Like think like
Are you
if
saying
I'm
moving to
running,
like the side?
yeah, kind of like think if
Yeah,
like
but
I'm
okay,
running.
but that's like assuming Big Mom is like completely like retarded and can't like move her hand to the side too.
Well, obviously, if you move to the side, right, but then she'd have to go to attack him again to then to like initiate another
Not
grab.
necessarily. Could it? No, no, wait, not necessarily.
Okay, like she could be, she doesn't have to like pull her hand back and then grab again. Like she can, regardless, she's still gonna have to do another motion to turn her hand to twist her hand to grab Marco, right?
Why
Regardless of like
literally, literally just move back and forth.
right, but then like regardless, by then Marco can also do another movement when he senses that attack incoming. Like he can like let's say he moves forward, but they're horizontally on the same level, and Big Mom tries to like twist her hand to grab him. He can duck or some shit, right? Like I don't think there's gonna be like a. It's just gonna be relative reliant on the same kind of like speed as the initial conflict there, as the initial like clash.
Um, sure. If you're saying Marco repositions, like yeah, if Marco repositions, then the built-up acceleration, I guess, would be like smaller than like originally, but I don't think that changed anything.
So let's just go to um let's just go to the like seeing point because you made note of that. Um
The what?
because you're aware of that Marco's observation, right?
Oh, yeah, sure. Yeah, Marco can have an observation
Yeah.
hockey, but
No,
I
I
don't
think you
think.
already know what I'm getting. I think you already know what I'm
Yeah.
gonna say, right? Obviously, like between you and me, but let me just like outline it a bit clearer, especially for the sake of like the debate, right? Um, So Marco, like my full argument is just gonna be this, right? Marco has observation, right? And typically, you see within like observation users in One Piece that they use it, and it's more ideal for them to use it, even like beyond their own sight, right? Because they need it to help track attacks. So and obviously something independent of sight, it's just something that you sense of the opponent, like their intent, even if you got your eyes closed. So it's more consistent that Marco is going to be not only using observation in this encounter, but it's that it's also going to help him sense where Big Mom's trying to hit him before his own sight can see it. Because obviously, if that weren't the case, observation would be very unlikely to be used by all these people that do use it in their fights.
Okay. I don't think he necessarily has to be using the observation hockey. I don't think he has to be using the observation hockey because of the Paros thing. Like he doesn't notice Paros is there, and we see like a visible shock. Like he's not expecting the arrow. I think he's like, oh shit. We see shock from him when Paros unleashes the arrow. That's one, and then two. Um, Even if I grant he's using observation hockey, like you'd have to like somehow like say that that's like scales to the rest of his like reaction speed, which like I don't think he can do.
Well, that was kind of entailed in my argument prior. Let's quickly go for the Paraspar thing.
Well, okay,
The
wait,
problem
why was
is,
it in your argument prior? Because like, can you just like repeat it?
it was just a fact that like typically they do use like characters are going to use it
Yeah,
to help
but
dodge attacks.
yeah,
Yeah, like
using it to help you dodge doesn't mean it's like obviously it's an amp to your reactions in some sort of speed, but I don't know if that means it scales to it. Like he literally just increased the reaction speed by like 5% when they're looking at an object. Like that
but
doesn't
then
mean like
it's not like observation speed is like really different because all it
what.
is just gonna add wait all we're really indexing observation to is an amp to how quickly you can react to something. So let's say observation boosts your thing by 5%. right? Marco's reaction speed could be a 10, it could be 100, I don't really care. So in the end of the day, all it's gonna do is it's actually going to, regardless of sight, because it senses and then like you
No,
don't
okay,
need.
okay, but
Don't
that
worry.
no, no, that's not what I'm
The point
saying.
is you
That's
don't
not what I'm
need
saying.
sight. The point is you don't need sight, right? Observation alerts you to the attack, right? If it's gonna amp that, right, then you're going to see it first before
No,
you're gonna sense it first before you see, which is also
not
what you typically.
necessarily. Not necessarily. Because what I'm saying is, okay, like if it's like an additive like amp onto his site, right? Because okay, you should probably have like your best reactions when you're looking at something and you're using observation. So looking at something still gives you an amp. Like that, I
I
don't think like unless you can prove observation scales to the same speed as your normal eyesight, then that's like irrelevant.
I disagree. Like yeah, I think that like what's it called?
Because
I think what it
you
is.
know what? Okay, you know
Oh,
like we see in frames, Lucas. Like, do you know what that is? Like, we see like a certain speed. We can only see like a certain amount of like frames per second. So what I'm saying is like unless observation hockey scales to that, and like
my point
the
is
same speed
okay.
you see, then it's
Yeah,
irrelevant.
the reason why like observation should be alerting you to the intent and the coming of an attack, before like even your eyes can see it, is because what's it called? I mean that's just like consistent with shown between observation users and why they're using it mid battle. Like even Luffy with Rayleigh, right? Like Rayleigh's training him literally to fight fucking blindfolded, right? Like he doesn't need to rely
Yeah,
on his sight.
but that's okay. Like I agree, but I think that can be against like very shitty people. Like obviously they can react to like these like lions and cats who are like moving at like 3 miles an hour. They can react to those from behind with their observation hockey. But when someone's actually like relevant in speed, I don't know why that has to apply.
Well, no, but that's just not in context to what observation like is gonna like learning hockey in general, including observation, is for Luffy to grow stronger to face stronger enemies, like enemies that in the past, right, as he is now, he can't beat. So obviously, enemies that are at the very least gonna scale to, if not beyond, his speed. So it's not about just being able to react to like some fodder that might try to get you in behind or some shit. It's about actually progressing in overall power and speed and combativeness, to opponents that like without hockey, Luffy just can't beat. And in fact, some of the opponents that Luffy was fighting, like even in context of his training, were literally opponents like animals. He went to an island to go fight animals that he couldn't compare to without hockey.
Yeah, just because okay, wait, that I don't think that's like correlated. Like okay, obviously Luffy was weaker than those animals, but when he first got there, but by the time he's like mastering that observation hockey, we don't know if that's still true.
Yeah, that's
Anyway, I think we can move on from this because
yeah. Let's just go to the Parasport thing real quick. Like, that's like him not being shocked at the Parasport thing. Like, assumes that using observation is gonna be like what's it called? It's like giving you this like field of sensing things like all around you rather than just like index to your opponent, which is all we really see. Unless like it seems like someone may consciously
well,
activate
like
the ability to like sense all around
what
them.
defines someone as like an opponent? Like, I don't know why it would just like send like it
I mean,
senses
I'll say
hostile
like this.
intent. Isn't that the point? And that's
I'll say like this. I'll
hostile
say like
intent.
this. Like all we see from observation is that like usually like in terms of being able to sense attacks incoming and in future sight seeing the future, right? Like it's usually indexed to or like from
Well,
my
I
understanding, it's
think
always just indexed one sec. It's just
yeah.
indexed to the opponent that they're fighting, right? It's like obviously like we don't have any direct indication from my understanding that they're doing it on purpose, that they're specifically locking in on someone, right? But all I'm saying is that we don't really have evidence to believe that like you kind of open this like field of observation rather than like actually just like only locking in on your opponent because that's just all we see. We only see like Luffy and Katakuri. We only see Luffy. In fact, I think Luffy actually gets tagged by someone else that's interfering in the fight
Well,
that's fine.
they say even yeah, but that I don't think that has anything to do with like I just think Luffy just doesn't have massive observation hockey at that point. It's also an extremely small object, and I don't think he was focused on that. So what then we're saying is like, okay, if you're not
Wait,
focused on, okay, because it seems to be more so like hostile intent. Like, yeah, you can say it's normally your enemy, but that's because most fights in One Piece are 1v1s. But like, it seems to more so just be like you can sense hostile intent. At least,
wait.
uh,
I mean, for one, like
because
you
no,
kind
no,
of
because
implied
Lucas,
that.
we see like look, I'll send it. You can see you can sense that like Rayleigh says you can sense the numbers of enemies, right? I'm saying
Yeah.
that like sense the numbers of enemies. So like I really doubt Marco can't sense like Paraspus is obviously an enemy. He's trying to kill Marco. He's on Big Mom's side. So like he probably can sense him because he's in the location. That's what I'm saying.
Well, that okay. That's what's it called. I mean, that can be like a conscious thing, right? That's fine. But like again, there's two things. A, even as you implied, there could be like a focus that you need to do that, right? And
Okay,
like
but
that's why
then why would
that's
you be
like
focused on Big Mom's hand?
no, because the focus would be index of the opponent in general to read what they're doing rather than to
Why?
like what's it called?
Why?
No, because the problem is observation. Because you can't when you actually see someone use observation in combat, like they don't index it. Like you don't know. The point is observation is supposed to tell you what the opponent's about to do, right? But obviously observation, like you don't know what they're going to do without observation. That's the point of observation. So we know that you're not actually focusing on the specific part because you don't know that they're going to use that yet for combat to like attack you or whatever. In this case, for example, like he wouldn't know that Big Mom's going to use her arm to stretch and grab him. It's about focusing on the enemy, and then through that, we see characters actually see what they're about to do before they do it. That's just consistently what we see with observations. So obviously, it's not about focusing on the part, but like at the same time, also it could just be because
But Lucas,
Paraspero.
that's a certain type of observation hockey.
What do you mean a certain type? How's that different from
Like
what Marco's does?
that. Okay, you're okay for Marco to do that. He has to sense the intent, right?
Yeah, the intent of his opponent.
Yeah, and that's like a certain like type. Like we know there are different types of like observation hockey, or like different like what's the word? Like different like categories. I guess is the right word.
I mean, yeah, in the sense of like observation can let you do different things, but my point is that base observation users do consistently show, even without feature sight, like just being able to have that ability of sensing the intent of an opponent in general without obviously they don't need to know like, oh, you're about to go for like a right kick, right?
I'm
Because
about
they
to
are
look,
focusing
champ.
the observation.
Look what I sent, champ. They say
Okay,
it's
let me
like a look. Brady says within the confines of observation hockey, you seem especially attuned to living things or whatever, and that means you can sense the action the other person will take. Because we also see like I have this somewhere. There's like when Fujitora and Usopp, like let's look at Usopp. Usopp has this weird ass observation hockey where he sees like their spirits or some shit through like walls. Like okay, there's clearly different like types of observation hockey because there's different things that are relevant. Like you need to be able to see the distance they are, right? Their presence, their intent, all that shit. There's like different categories and different like things that build observation hockey. So what I'm saying is Marco doesn't have to be as good at sensing emotions of living things. Like, that can be something he's not. Like unless we know that Marcus is
I
good,
mean,
then what does that do? You know,
I
bro?
don't know. The problem is that well, for
I'm
one, like
knowing ya.
I
I'm
don't
knowing ya.
necessarily think that. And if you want to say that, like people can like within the amount of abilities they get from observation, right? Some people can be better at some and like worse than others. It's fine. It's just that typically
I
people don't
thought I
seem to
together
be.
we're good.
I don't typically I don't see like any example. You only see like counter examples of people using observation to benefit them to sense intent, right? Like otherwise they wouldn't use it in a one direct like 1v1 if it wasn't gonna like be better than
Well,
just like fight
no,
or something.
no, cause okay, cause Lucas, bro, if it helps him in any way, like Marco's observation hockey obviously helps him, but what I'm saying is it doesn't have to help in that specific category, so it's not gonna help him there.
Right?
Yo, Zang, you're supposed to judge this, by the way. Stop chirping. You are judging this. You said I'm gonna watch the rec and judge this, guys. You're gonna get to work, champ.
What's it called?
I'm
Could you
the
just repeat what you
one,
said?
yeah. I'm the one. Yeah. Like you're saying that, just because he's using the observation hockey doesn't mean he has strong, like, intent seeking abilities with it. It can just mean that his observation hockey is useful, which obviously it is. But I'm
But
saying
that's
my whole thing was that he doesn't have to. Okay, thank you. Repeat what you said, bro.
I was saying that in general, like at least intent seeking in the sense of like the ability is
Hey, bro.
allowing them to see attacks before it happened, right? To see like what the next attack is to help them react. That's typically something that people do.
Why?
Like that's something. No, I'm saying that you didn't even hear the full thing. What the fuck? Okay, that's typically something that is advantageous to people and like useful within comic. It's just what we
Okay.
see. We see no counterexample, but we always
Obviously,
see
that's
people like
useful.
Luffy.
Yeah,
People like
yeah. Seeing their intent is useful, but so what?
my point is that like be like it's not to the point where it's worse than their perception, like their normal perceptions, like with sense, like sight and shit,
What?
to the point where yeah, like it's actually an advantage on top of that is my point in the sense that like an attack is going to be better addressed with the combination of sight and observation than
I
just with sight.
agree. I agree.
Yeah,
His
that's what we see
observation how he
most of the
amps it, but
time.
what I'm saying is he might not be skilled in the ability to sense the intent of attacks
That's
like that. So
that's fine. You know, we could just move on. Let's
okay,
go to the
okay,
one final
my
thing with
yeah,
us. I think I
that
already contested. That's fine. I
I
like
think
listen. I don't
yeah,
want to go
yeah,
too like
yeah. We don't
roundabout, like
care.
make around the rosy type shit.
Mhm.
Just one sec. One more thing about the Perisparrow thing, and then we can probably just. Actually, no. We still have to go through another thing that you said earlier. But let's go
No,
to
we
the
don't.
Perisparrow.
We low key don't. Yeah, let's say the paragraph.
You contested the thing about the homies in the AP. Anyways, what's
I
it called?
didn't. I didn't. I said
Yeah,
honestly
you
that
said like I
matter.
don't know
But
why. What you said? I don't know why one homie. Okay, like can you just agree that Big Mom with three homies is gonna have more AP than one homie?
yeah, her AP can be
Okay,
increased. Yeah,
thank you.
obviously.
Okay. All I need to go from there is like, why do you think Perisparrow had hostile intent to Marco prior to like Big Mom catching him?
Um, he's your enemy.
Do you think that's the only like qualifier for having
Well,
hostile intent? Because it could
like
be like in
if you
it could be like
if you're
hostile intent could be like when you are like in the moment readying an attack, right? Like let's say me and you are enemies, right? But we're just kind of like in a room. I'm not like directly about to go for an attack. It's when I decide to go for an attack that like I begin to get hostile. Do you
but
understand?
intent is just what you like want to happen. Like I think like what Rayleigh at least is referring to in this category of observation how I feel like it's just the emotions, right? Obviously, Paros at least wants Marco to lose. Like I don't think you're gonna disagree with that. Like, Paros wants every single like allied force there to lose because he's like one of the villains or whatever. So like Marco should be able to sense that if he's strong in that, but he's probably not strong in that category because he can't sense that. So his intent of attacks thing is probably weak. So he probably can't sense Big Mom
What's it
doing
called?
that.
I mean
But okay,
that again,
let's move on because we keep ah.
bro. It's just that like what's it called? Oh my gosh.
I almost had to drive my friend Petey, but I don't have to anymore. So let's all get hype.
Oh, that's why you're kind of like pressured.
Yeah, I was worried
But
for a second. No, I don't have to anymore. But
yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
I just
Okay,
don't like being long.
the thing about
Saw.
what's his name? What's his face? The thing about Marco and like Paris Sparrow is again like okay, I don't know if like I don't know if intent is specifically attributed to like yeah he talks about like emotions but I don't know if it's like specifically attributed to like just what's it called like non because even when we see like people react to observation hockey it's usually wait can you hear me by the way
Yeah,
before I
yeah.
can. Okay, good. It's usually indexed to like specific attacks and excuse me, maneuvers. Like I don't think just like somebody who has intent or like has emotions in general is something that you can actually sense. Even then, like maybe the surprise isn't
Okay.
specifically at like the fact that like Paris Sparrow had that ill will and that he was there, but that he was gonna use like a fucking like bow and arrow to like pierce his head.
Okay, bro. Now we can move on from that.
Actually, I mean that's fun, bro.
Okay. No, do you want to go to my
Um,
scaling? We can.
yeah, we
Sure.
can actually go to your scaling because we
Yo,
already
I'm
started.
Jiggly.
yeah, yeah, Isaac, bro.
Yeah, I want to tell you something after this debate. I guess.
All right.
Wait, yeah. You can tell me after. They're chirping in chat. Wait, what is it? Is it like ban Asheville?
Van, what the fuck?
Yeah, I'll tell you why too.
Okay, yeah,
Oh,
You have
sure.
an actual good reason.
No, okay, yeah, sure. Yeah.
All right.
oh, Isaac, is it the Coliseum thing?
Yeah, like
All right,
retard.
Okay,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah, I got you.
We'll
Talk about it
we'll
later.
call we'll call right after.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll be quick about this because you know we've been here for quite a while.
My bad.
Okay, no, it's not your fault. Um, yeah, Zoro's just relative to Big Mom on the rooftop. Like I don't know.
So you're scaling rooftops are relative to Big Mom?
Yeah. He's relative to her. You can block this. Relative to Kaido, scales to Big Mom like 2. Yeah. Scales to Big Mom and Kaido. So yeah.
Wait, like I'm assuming you're connecting that to King by saying like King's just way above
Yeah,
Zoro.
yes, then King just like then King goes relative with I think full power King's just above like ACOG Zoro.
Um, I think he's way above rooftop anyway, so I don't really go into that like thing. Um, what's it called? Yeah, okay, so I think full power King's above rooftop Zoro anyway, so you don't get that. Do you actually believe full power King above full power Zoro? ACOG Zoro?
No, I'll explain why in a second.
Anyways, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter
Yes,
because
bro, what's up?
the main thing I'm really gonna attack is Big Mom being relative to Zoro. So like I'm assuming just off the fact that like he like is able to like dodge her attacks.
Yeah, like dodge, intercept, he tags Kaido, who scales
All
Big
right.
Mom.
Why do you think Big Mom's going all out there?
Um, like it's just she wants to beat them. It's in her best interest to like go all out if she wants to beat them. And she's not like someone like Kaido really, where like she enjoys fighting. Where like I would think, oh yeah, she would like hold back on them to like have a more fun fight.
Yeah, but it could just be the case that she doesn't like see it fit to need to use it all to
Like,
beat them. And the
yeah,
basis for that,
that's
yeah,
I know I agree that's possible, but like if you start getting bitched by people really badly, then you're probably gonna want to step up your game and be like, oh yeah, I have to lock in. Which we see when Zoro uses his like katana, and she's like, oh shit, that thing is strong as fuck. We have to lock in. So um
I mean, it could be the case that she did try harder. I'm not necessarily denying that. And that's also like why they go into the um combo attack. But it doesn't obviously mean that they're necessarily going to be like even with Kaido stepping up there at the one arc doesn't mean that you're just going to automatically go from 1 to 100%. But in the case of Big Mom, like we do have basis to say that she's not actually trying within like the absolute best of her abilities. Because for example, she doesn't like use Misery and Mazer Saber. These are powerful attacks that she uses in response to what's his name? Kid and Law. Yeah, Kid and Law. Obviously, like
well,
getting stronger through awakening and like
I
taking the
I
punch up
think
with.
Mazer Saber and Misery are both the reason she I stylistic. I don't think they're necessarily stronger attacks. It's just she's facing like five opponents here, right? There's five opponents. The ratio of opponents is 2 to 5, which is means she has less numbers than when she did in a 1v2. So Major Saber and Misery are both attacks where she loses people on her team by like combining her homies into like singular entities. So it's gonna be like in a group battle. I think those are like ineffective attacks, right?
What's
So
it
I don't think
called?
that's necessarily relevant.
Well, the thing about what's it called? Mazer Saber, like the difference is that with Mazer Saber and like Misery is that it would be more beneficial because even if they lose like I guess more like AoE in coverage, especially if again like by your logic, right, she would if she's not getting anywhere with a certain level of power, but being what she's using the rooftop, she'd have more motivation to just go like all out or closer to all out, right? The case is that Misery would regardless. Oh, yeah, my bad. I was going nowhere with that. What the fuck? The point is with at least like Misery and Misery Saber is that um the difference is that she can just like for example, Mazer Saber is shown to be able to just like one shot kids Punk Cornelia, right? Like she'd be able to do like so much critical damage in just one hit. Whereas instead, what we actually see is happening in canon is that she's not doing critical damage with any of her homies' attacks, and her homies are actually getting like dispelled by the rooftop. Instead, using Mazer Saber, right?
Well, her
Um,
homies only start getting dispelled at the end of the fight, and like all these other things are after. So I don't think that's really relevant.
actually, no, like even like toward the end of not even necessarily toward, like just during the fight, like the fact that I guess I won't really use the spell thing because like by then she wouldn't even be able to make it. But the more important part is just the idea that
Also, wait, actually, she can't even do misery on the rooftop. I don't even know if she can do Mazer Saber on the rooftop. Actually,
are you gonna say because of Hera?
yeah,
But why is like why can't she make it with Zeus? Like they're both
they
Thundercloud
because
homies.
they say they it's stated that I'll send it. Because they're different homies, and we know. Here, I'll send the statement. DJ.
Actually, no, I don't even like this argument for her not going allowed. I'll drop it. Let me just use another one.
Great.
So,
Okay, so I was gonna say, bro.
and there's a lot of. I'm trying to think which one
My
doesn't.
friend Jaj is in line to check out from the store right now.
I love that. I'm trying to figure out which one's not gonna make this debate go to 2 hours. Hold up.
I would literally rather come with.
Someone's getting slammed. I won't say who.
He was not listening, by the way. He does not know who's getting slammed, quote unquote. Hoshi.
Okay, where is this
He
thing?
doesn't know you.
Yes, he does.
He doesn't know you exist.
Oh, you should unmute and tell Zhang to stop being rude, if you can. He said stop
Sorry.
being rude in the chat.
Aw,
You know what? I'm gonna go to scat and rewind scan server.
Hey, bro, welcome to the call, bro.
Thanks for the welcome.
Bo knows has some respect.
Fucker, kid and law in this thing. Wait, how do you spell kid? Okay. Did they not? Oh gosh, so fucking annoying.
what are y'all even arguing about?
Just the Big Mom's going full power on the rooftop.
I told my friend that he's mad that all of us ascended and he's still stuck as an LTN.
Oh my god.
He's sending pictures of me when I was in 10th
Bro,
grade.
okay.
Very rude.
What's it called? Jiggly, do you mind like if I ask Oshi for a quick scan? Like that
Oh,
I know
I
how to
mind.
use?
No, I don't.
Yeah, fuck you. I can find it myself anyway, it doesn't
This
matter.
scan does not exist. I promise you it does not. It's either
This is
Chinese,
probably-
right? Alright, pre-find it. It's Chinese, it's not real.
Wait, okay, do you know about the weekly shonen jump scan that just says like Big Mom went all out against Kid and Law?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, like I don't even need that sentence. Like we've been seeing that around. Okay, so the problem is like that scan is obviously indexing into like they say like okay, Law and Kid, they use their awakenings, right? And then in response, Big Mom like uses all her might. So they're what's it called? They
Well,
are
let me see the statement first.
Yeah, fuck you, Kid.
Well, I have it.
Yeah, I'll have it. I have it on one of my scan servers, so just forget.
I have it. I have it. I'm sending it.
Okay, yeah, just send it then.
Alright.
Dude sending scans for his opponent.
Why? Well, yeah, because just so we can analyze it together.
I can find
Why
it
does this
anyway.
mean? Why does this mean that she didn't attack him with all her might before?
One sec.
I'm
No, because
losing-
if it's saying like in response, right? She's using all her might.
It doesn't say in response. It just says she sees him as she recognizes them as formidable enemies and attacks them with all her might. But that doesn't mean it's not saying like since she does. It's not creating like
Wait,
a cause and effect relationship.
let
It's
me
just
see.
saying it's a as they say it's conjunctive.
No, I get what you're saying. I get what you're
Look
saying.
at that
I just
vocab
didn't-
word there. We learned that in math last year.
Hold up. I just didn't know. Let me translate this. I just didn't know that was a translation.
It's my translation. My translation is the best.
You niggas dead ass have been debating for 5 days.
Yeah, can we wrap it up soon?
Yeah.
Yeah, after this game, let's just say like because then this
Okay,
yeah
yeah.
let's just yeah.
Honestly,
Wait,
honestly,
Lucas, is the rivalry back, bro?
yeah, maybe. I just
Never
thought
changed
okay,
that again.
I'm not gonna even use this again because I thought I just said something completely fucking different. That's fine. I'll just use what can I use? What can I use? Oh yeah, even better. Okay.
Not better. It's longer. It's not better. It's longer.
Listen, bro. This is what happens when you question this shit. So my argument would just be the case of like, okay, Big Mom stated to be stronger than Shanks, and Shanks just obviously has scaling that would like put him like literally like a blitz tier above. He literally like, for example, blitzes Kid from like a monumental distance. You want to attack the first point, the second point, or both?
All of the above, son. One, I don't think. Rape me. Okay. I don't think Big Mom scales to Shanks has anything to say anything about her being anything Shanks level, anything ever. That's one. Two. Okay. Kid literally scales to Big Mom, so like if she's in her full power, which you apparently claim, which you agreed with, right? So okay, if she's in her full power against them, like that just can't be consistent. So yeah, that's gonna
Yeah,
be
I'll get into that.
Okay.
I'll get into
Okay.
that. Firstly, I'll just send the statement that proves Big Mom's over Shanks, and we can argue about like the consistency with a Kid feet
Please
later.
just- Yeah, I can't be out of this debate. But... All right, yeah, okay. Big Mom's the strongest Yonko. Okay. Okay, what does that mean, Lucas?
Okay, well, you know, there's like, what's it called? Oh, I said it in general, my bad. But anyways,
I'll look at it.
yeah. You understand that there's like a consistency in One Piece. So when you say the strongest, right, you mean combatively, and obviously
Why?
she's a Yonko, Shanks is a Yonko. Okay,
Why?
so I'll go into the whole like strongest thing. So you agree for Mihawk that is talking about the context of beating Mihawk. They index it to that to be the strongest swordsman.
About beating Mihawk in a fight.
Yeah.
Yeah, it can be about beating Mihawk in a fight. Yeah.
Okay. As being like, yeah, combatively above. So what about for example, when they say about CP0, they say
What?
the wait, once I'm just giving another example about like how strongest these use in One Piece are like strength comparisons. Um when Robin's talking about like the masked agents of CP0, she's talking about how the masked ones are stronger than the non-masked agents. And we see not only like a consistency with the masked agents just having other ways of scaling them above the non-masked agents, but it's also the fact that Robin's statement is clearly in context to their threat fighting against the Wano Alliance, that she's also talking
What?
about combative strength.
Can you send this?
Yeah, I'll send that. Oh my god, Zhang. This kid. Okay, hold up. Let me send some of these scans. All right. So, you see, then talking about CP0, like beating the fuck out of people trying to protect Robin, like, oh, they're just too strong. And then Robin even says in context, like, out of everyone in CP0, the highest level of Cypher Pole, the agents wearing masks are the most elite.
Yeah, these are very separate things, Lucas. At the higher level of Cipher Pool, okay, CP0 is the higher level of Cipher Pool because there's multiple levels. I mean, there's like CP1 through 0. Okay, 0 is the highest. That's what she's saying. But the agents wearing the masks are the most elite. That just means they're the higher ups within CP0.
No, but like I'm saying that in context with what Robin says, like she should be talking about
Why?
combative strength because
Why?
it's talking about because the context preceding it is about what's it called?
Them being too
Um,
strong?
yeah, them being too strong and then just beating
No,
the people.
no, that's not. No. Brooke is asking her who the hell they are. She's explaining who they are. She's responding to
Okay,
Brooke's. That
wait,
seems more likely because it's a more recent statement, right? Conversationally, you respond to the more recent
wait,
thing, but I think it's
wait.
more
It's
likely than
obviously
not.
include. It's obviously what's it called? Inclusive. I'm not saying that she's not responding to Brooke's statement. I'm just saying that like the reason of her mentioning like there's no reason to what's it called mention the fact that like he's a masked agent and that they're the most elite just to respond to Brooke's question. It obviously indicates that there's something that is motivating her to provide extra context about CP0 is the highest level of Cypher and these guys in particular are the most elite of that. That would be the fact that the same character Brooke is being like, yo, these guys are too strong, what the
How do we
fuck,
know that was Brooke who said that?
they're just too strong, be careful my mink friends,
Yeah, how do we know it's all Brooke?
because what's
We
it
see a
called.
bunch of random minks in front. Do you not think it could be one of those Brooks? Minks, we literally see them say, oh, run, Barrett, that's what they call Brooke, and protect Nico Robin. Like, these minks are saying random shit. I think it's possible, oh, they're just too
Well, that's not
strong.
the
Brooke,
reason why. Okay.
Brooke is
Oh my
obviously saying,
gosh.
be careful, my mink friends, but the other
This is
stuff, I
so
don't know.
fucking rad. This is so fucking rad. But
No,
anyways, what's it
God.
called? Well, I'll just say this that like typically in One Piece, like the title box or like the fucking what's it called? The box where like what do you call the dialogue box? I'm stupid right now. The dialogue box that's like the person like who's speaking the dialogue box is gonna be most likely like or just consistently we see who's closer to it. For example, even in that same what's it called page, we see that the panel boxes that Brooke is speaking from hence why he asked Robin why are they here, they're closer to Brooke, and then the one that Robin says time to jump down, like he's saying that that's closer to Robin.
You're saying that the panel's closer to him?
Yeah, like we see just consistently that like the person closest to the
No,
dialogue box is gonna be the one that's saying it, and
no,
like Brooke
no,
is.
dude. I mean, we look like that's just not true. In the same page, Brooke is closer to the right dialogue, and so he says it's him talking to Robin. Uh,
Yeah, it's my fault. He's closer to the right dialogue. I agree with that. I mean,
okay, so
yeah.
okay.
Actually, no.
Alright,
Oh, I see what you mean. I see what you
yeah.
mean. Oh, you think?
Can we
Oh,
move on from this? I just think it doesn't have to be combatively like strong here. That's all I'm saying. I shouldn't even call them the strongest here.
Hmm?
I shouldn't even call them the strongest here. Like Brooke just says they're strong, and then Rob is just saying, yeah, these are the most elite ones, probably, which is relevant to Brooke, obviously, because like their presence here is relevant on why the most elite ones are here. That involves things like their what's it called, their stealth, their reconnaissance, all that, their assassination abilities, which is what
well,
actually
yeah,
gets
that's
me
basically
espionage.
their like literally the only thing that would be relevant to them. Like, what else would be relevant to them other than combatively? Like, can you really provide a reason why like anything
Yeah,
else?
they're an
That's
assassination organization. Assassination.
honestly, yeah, their ability to assassinate is going to be their combat prowess, right? Their
No,
ability to fight you.
no.
Are you retarded?
Lucas, okay. Do you know what assassination is? Most assassinations are literally done stealthily and done without the other person knowing. Like, have you ever every IRL assassination, like every assassination that
In one
okay,
sec.
in this world, sure. I think there's more combat based assassinations. Like, yeah, some people probably react. What I'm saying is, a lot of assassinations are also still built upon the fact that they can like sneak up on you and then kill you, or like kill you while you're asleep. Like that requires like intelligence too, and like all sorts of categories. You do a lot of things.
What's it
Can we
called?
move on from this shit, dude? I'm not gonna lie.
The problem. Oh my gosh, bro. Like, what I was
We've
trying
been
to
here
say.
for a minute.
The problem, actually, you know what? I mean, I could respond to that, but I also don't want to keep you too much. We could just end this anyway. I don't really care, bro. We're just having a little
All right,
fucking.
and then also my last thing. Then let's move on, and then because regardless, your thing would have went through if this is like the case. Um,
Wait, are you just trying to substantiate King above Zoro, bro? I don't care.
yeah, yeah.
Like, we can end it.
Well,
I
not
don't.
King. No. It's only one
Not
panel. It's only
King
one
like
panel.
just like he's way above Zoro, bro. I don't fucking care. It's fine. Like you don't need to give your argument, bro. I agree. Like
He's above Zoro. I was gonna say he's above Zoro before King of Hell. It's like, hey,
I'm
Zoro.
ending the rec, Larry.
Save it.